Hi, my name is Miles. I normally post under the name Valen, but I'm using my real name because this is too important not to let a fake name detract from the message I'm going to give you. This is a plea to the young voters of the UK. I hope, if there is still time to make that decision, 16 and 17-year-olds are given the vote. But 18 to 25-year-olds, you already had the vote. It's about time you used it. I know what it's like to have the generation before me betray me. I know this from personal experience. At the last election, even at the age of 45, I have been betrayed by the generation before me. Because both my parents voted for the Tories, despite the fact that the Tories were instrumental in taking away my benefit for 9 months over a mistake the DWP made, which was a consequence of the policies of the Tory government. But you're going to live in a future that is currently being made by people of my age and older, because the older you are, the more chance you have of going out and actually voting. Unfortunately, they tend to vote very selfishly. Not all of them, but a lot of them do. And that's possibly understandable. You can change that by registering to vote if you haven't, and if there is still time, and then actually go out and vote. So many people, young people, registered to vote in the EU referendum that didn't vote. And then, when it didn't turn out to be the result that you actually wanted, you started complaining. Well, you can't complain if you didn't vote. Don't look at the polls. Don't believe the polls, because the polls of late have been wrong more often than they've been right. So, please, go out and vote. Register and then actually go out and vote, or use one of the other methods that you can vote through. But bear in mind this: choose wisely. Choose the party you think will do the best job, not just for you, but for the older generations too. Be the first generation of voters who actually vote in the interests of everybody. The reason I say this is because if you provide the example of how to vote for the next generation, when you get to my age and older, they won't attack you and what's left of your future as the previous generations have against your future. It's very simple. And don't think that just because you get a vote every 5 years, or as Theresa May has proved, whenever she feels like it, despite the fixed term parliament law, remember that the decisions of a government outlive that government by a factor of years. Don't forget, we are still living under the shadow of some of the decisions made by people like Tony Blair, who took us into an illegal war, and that has been a shadow over our country for years, and probably will be for many more. But also, don't forget that there have also been very good decisions that we have lived with for much longer. I speak, of course, of the creation of the NHS. That was a decision made by a parliament that had X amount of a small window of power before there was another vote. I don't know how that next one turned out. I'm not a historian in that respect. And I wasn't really interested in politics until 2010. But that decision made by that government has lived with us until now, over 60 years. So don't think that just because we can vote for a government every 5 years if we stick to the fixed term parliament rules, that things are going to immediately change if we throw that government out. Sometimes they will be bad decisions. Sometimes they will be good. But we may have to live with the decisions for years. And there will be, even if it's not a direct influence on us at the present time, it will cast a shadow or cast a beam of light, as the NHS has. So please, don't go through life blaming future generations if you haven't, previous generations, if you haven't registered and then used your vote. I don't care who you vote for, but don't vote on mere personalities. Please vote on who you really think would give us a society to actually be proud of. One that will protect you when you are older, but will also protect those who are old now and those who are young now, and those of us like me who are in the middle. Please go out and vote. If you haven't already registered, and if there is still time, register. But don't just register. Go out and vote. Because if the future that is decided at the next general election is one that you disagree with, if you haven't voted, you can't complain. Thanks for listening.